What's going on, everybody? Jeremy from Detroit Tech. I've spent a few years mixing music, and in that time my palette has really continued to mature. I've gone from thinking the bundled earbuds with my iPod video were totally fine to really upgrading to home theater floor standing speakers to what I have now. I'm using studio monitors and a studio subwoofer with a digital signal going through an audio interface designed with fidelity in mind. Let's check it out. First, let's take a look at the brains of this system. And I'm not talking about the computer. This is the M-Audio 2x2. I recently switched to this from the M-Audio C600, which pretty much was just a side grade. The 2x2 has a smaller form factor and can get me higher bitrate for the audio that I'm using, but it does have fewer inputs and no MIDI support. Also, this only has one set of stereo outs compared to the 3 sets of the C600, which really is no big deal, as I really only use one set of speakers or, one set of headphones. Besides, it has an updated aesthetic, and I love the giant metal knob for volume. Very easy to just kind of slam my hand down, flail it around, and adjust the volume perfectly. Now here's where it gets pretty fun. I'm using the M-Audio BX8 studio monitors for the sound. Now these things are great, if a bit simple. They have both TRS and XLR input and have a volume knob to make sure they're both at the same level when they're active. Now they have an 8-inch woofer right here and a 1 1/4 inch tweeter with 130 watts of total power running through each overall speaker. They sound very good, very even across their frequency response. The mids and the highs, they do come across very clearly. So, even so clear that when I first started using them as my main speakers, I started noticing in the music I had completely missed before. The home theater speakers I had before were a great upgrade from what I had even before that, but I was missing just so much musical information, especially up there in the high end. They were so airy, added so much to the music, they were really just a perfect addition. Now, the literature said they go all the way down to 30 hertz, but after using them for a little while, I was just missing the bass, the subterranean thump that people who love Beats headphones are always after. So this is where my KRK comes in. I'm not a bass head by any means, but I did want more when listening to some of those Skrillex tracks, or just to round out the sound a bit more. I started investigating, DAC amp combos that were 2.1, which is, stereo speakers plus a subwoofer, but any solution I found was really just too expensive. And that's when I realized studio subwoofers, they have inputs and outputs built in plus a crossover, which is exactly what I wanted. I went out the next day and bought the KRK-10S. This is an active subwoofer, has 225 watts of max power. It has on the back TRS input, left and right XLR input, and of course XLR outs for both left and right. It has a line in and line out RCA. Now with all of that, there are 2 knobs that give this thing the power that I really needed. It has a volume knob so I can get the level just where I like it and actually need it. Sorry Beats fans, it's not locked at max volume. And it does have a crossover knob. So this allows me to customize my sound and not just rely on the subwoofer manufacturer to tell me what my sound is or what my room needs. All right, so let's get a little bit of a demonstration here. Here it is with the bass pulled up to about 25%. And here it is with the bass turned up to 100%. All of these things need to be powered, and I was not going to trust these expensive electronics just to any old power strip, so I also got this Monster Power Pro 2500. If you'd like us to do a video about the difference between a power conditioner and a power strip, let us know in the comments down below. Now the Pro 25 is probably the least sexy and one of the most important parts of the system. It gives me clean and reliable power. I even made speaker stands for the monitors out of simple plywood and 1 1/4 pipe. And since I live in an apartment for now, I made a sub isolation stand. Even though I don't have the sub crank very high, I still don't want to make my neighbors angry. And of course, to get rid of any resonance that keeps me from hearing what the producers intended, I'm using the Auralex Mopads underneath the BX8s. Over the 4.5 years it took for me to assemble this whole setup, I spent about $1,000, maybe about $1,200. I don't expect everybody here to go out spend this kind of money either. I mix music, and the setup I had was just making me angry, to be honest. I wanted to actually hear the music I was working on, not just adjust to the crappy speakers I had. Plus, I love just sitting down and throwing on a couple songs, just sitting there and listening. High-end audio isn't necessarily for everyone. The cost can be quite prohibitive, and I wouldn't even call this setup high-end necessarily. I mean, considering I have my eyes on the Atom S3XH, which run about $3,000 to $4,000 mark, and that's just for one of the speakers. Anyway, if you are someone who really enjoys their music and just wants to hear everything the musicians and the producer wanted you to hear, I would suggest starting with the standalone DAC, digital audio converter, and possibly just some $100, headphones, earbuds, something like that. I'll put some suggestions in the description below. This is one of really the best ways just to get a taste of high-end audio. Be careful, it is a beautiful but very, very slippery slope. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. Either way, let us know what you thought in the comments below. Tell us what kind of audio setup you have, and we'll see you in the next one.